2 star reporters, 1 future cabinet secretary, more than a handful of steamy texts. It's an affair that detonated an engagement, rocked the journalism industry, and for a while captured the nation's attention, with the salacious details now being chopped up and sold for parts. In an industry supposedly built on trust and accountability, does any of that matter when scandal itself can be sold as product? I'm William Padmore. This is Media Watch. Today, the Nuzzi Affair. Ryan Lizza and Olivia Nuzzi are, or were, journalism superstars. Both built their reputations as Washington insiders, which in practice means networking your way into elite and powerful circles to land exclusive interviews, scoops, and things like that. Nuzzi, just 32 years old, rose to prominence covering presidential elections, combining sharp writing, social media savvy, and unusually strong access to power players. She established herself not just as a reporter, but a media personality. In her short career, she's been featured in The Daily Beast, The Washington Post, CNN, The Daily Show, NPR, and more. She also just published a book, but more on that later. Ryan Lizza, 51, comes from an older generation of political journalism. Over his career, he's covered nearly every major Washington flashpoint going back to the Clinton impeachment. I first became aware of him after his now legendary 2017 interview with Anthony the Mooch Scaramucci. Scaramucci would go on to be fired almost immediately after that interview went live. According to most records, Nuzzi and Lizza began dating around 2018 and announced their engagement in 2022. Together, with their combined resumes and access, they were a bona fide journalism power couple. But it was not to last. Their engagement collapsed in the fall of 2024 when details emerged about a sexting scandal between Nuzzi and then presidential candidate, now Health Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. In less than a year, this went from private relationship drama to public scandal to full-blown professional implosion. Messy. Sad. Now, what matters here isn't the scandal per se, but the ethical issue it raises. That is, a reporter reporting on a subject they have a close and intimate personal relationship with. It's also about what it means when that conflict of interest only comes to light after the reporting has been published. Now, the core problem with Nuzzi's relationship with RFK Jr. is, of course, she was reporting on him at the time of the affair. Journalism ethics can vary by newsroom, but there are certain golden rules that can almost never be crossed. One of those commandments is, per the Journalism Code of Ethics, conflicts of interest, real or perceived, must be disclosed before publication. By not informing readers or her editors of her relationship with Kennedy, Nuzzi deprived all of them of crucial context within her reporting, and more importantly, opened all of her reporting up to accusations of bias. Journalism relies on trust, and when conflicts of interest are hidden, trust collapses. Now, what's perhaps most striking about this whole scandal is that the majority of the consequences fell not on the powerful figure around which it surrounds, but the reporters. After the story broke, Nuzzi, of course, faced widespread criticism from within the industry. It's safe to say she won't be covering RFK Jr. professionally anytime soon. And the fallout from within the industry was swift. Nuzzi ended up parting ways with New York Magazine in 2024 after details of the affair came to light, even though an internal investigation done by the magazine found no evidence of bias in her reporting. Nuzzi would be later hired as Vanity Fair's West Coast editor, but after more allegations came out via Lizza's personal Substack, another investigation was done, and it was decided that Nuzzi and Vanity Fair would part ways at the end of December. The lesson was clear. Once the relationship became public, newsrooms didn't debate intent, they moved to limit risk. For the broader industry, this all landed in a media environment that was already hostile to reporters. It seemed like more of a confirmation information for critics. But for as messy as the scandal has been personally and professionally for these people, it all raises an even bigger question. In a world where likes, reshares, and upvotes are as good as currency and scandal itself can be monetized, does any of this matter in the world of journalism? On December 2nd, Nuzzi released American Conto, a book she wrote in the year after her separation with the New York Magazine. Its main selling point being that it details the relationship between her and Kennedy, who she refers to in the book as the politician. Now, despite intense public interest in the scandal itself, it doesn't seem, at least for now, to have translated into strong book sales. However, she's still doing interviews, she's still promoting the book, she's still commanding attention, and isn't that what really matters in today's age? As journalist Colby Hall wrote in a piece for Mediate, she probably doesn't even need legacy media at all. She writes, she's not trying to rebuild her reputation as a journalist, she's building a different kind of brand entirely, one where being interesting matters more than being ethical, where attention is the only currency that still spends. Just to wrap up, this is the age of the influencer, and do we really believe Nuzzi will never work in legacy journalism again? Even if she doesn't, she's one Substack or podcast deal away from a sustainable income, so, I mean, who cares? She can continue being a reporter, just not within the confines of legacy media and all the ethical restraints that come with it. But then does that make her a reporter? It's blurry today, isn't it? Speaking of media deals, after being let go from Politico, Ryan Lizza started his own Substack, which I mentioned previously, he has begun using to release salacious details of Nuzzi's relationship with Kennedy as he sees it. He also alleges Nuzzi was in a relationship with another politician, but at this point that's just an allegation and has not been confirmed. By the way, fun fact, every installment of his accounting of the affair beyond the first one is locked behind a paywall. So, but I hear what you're saying. What about the hero of our story, RFK Jr.? Well, this all mattered the least to him. He has since reconciled with his wife, and he's the Health Secretary of the United States government. So, yeah, winners win, I guess. I'm William Padmore. This is Media Watch. Does anything have consequences anymore? Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.